All right, then I will start sharing my screen and I will ask everybody else to please, if you would not mind muting yourself so that we can get the show on the road. So, all right. All right, everybody can see that? Good to go? Okay. All right, so hello everybody. My name is Shannon Sheridan and I am one of the co-chairs of the Engaging Researchers with Data Management Group. And I am going to be chairing the session today. First, I want to thank everybody for joining us from wherever you are and whenever you are for today's virtual plenary meeting for our Birds of a Feather group. We're really excited to be moving forward with this group, and we want to welcome everyone, whether it is your first time joining us or you've been to our presentations and meetings before. Before we get started, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping rules. Please keep yourself muted throughout the presentation so that everybody can hear our different presenters as we go along. We would appreciate it. There will be time for questions and discussions at the end of the presentation. So if you have anything that you want to say, just hold on to it until then, you know, jot it down if you need to remember it, just to make things easier for everybody as we go through. I and my other co-chairs are going to be monitoring the chat box as we go along. So if you have any really pressing issues, you can feel free to pop them in there. All right. Next up, in addition to recording this presentation, after which point the RDA will make the recording available for other people, we're also going to be taking asynchronous notes or synchronous notes throughout the session. Briana Ezray, another co-chair, is going to be in charge of that. But I want to encourage everybody to feel free to join along with those notes during the meeting. That is the bit.ly link right there. And if one of my co-chairs, where's the chat box? I can pop that in the chat. Maybe my chat box is not popping up. But if you could, you know, feel free to follow along, add your own notes, refer to the notes afterwards if you like. We're also going to have the link to the slides to this presentation on that note document, so you can have that as well. If you could also put your names on there as attendees to this session so we can kind of keep track who's joining and coming from where, we would appreciate that as well. And we're also going to be having some resources on there, so it's a good link to have, and I will also show it again at the end of the presentation. So we'll pause for a moment as I switch slides if anybody wants to go and pull that up. Okay. And now let's take a look at what we have planned for you all today. As you may suspect, we are already in the midst of the welcome, so I think we're off to a good start. Then James and Raman are going to talk briefly about some of the work that's been done so far within the group. And then also, since our last meeting, we have formalized the co-chairs of the group. So we're going to give everyone a quick minute to introduce themselves to you so you can put names to faces, see where your co-chairs are coming from. Next, Ellie is going to go in depth about the feedback that we received from the Technical Advisory Board about our proposal. We have received feedback, and so we wanted to share that with you guys. Then some current stuff. We're going to have a presentation from one of our members on some of the work they have been doing with the Turkey Research Data and Open Data Task Force. So we're looking forward to that. Should be pretty interesting. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with our ways of working, so what mediums we're communicating through, and also next steps for the group. And then finally, close out with some time for questions, comments, and closing remarks. So to get started, I'm going to switch it over to our mentee. I'm going to mute myself.
Hi, everyone. This is Andrea, and we have a Mentee presentation that we'd like just to ask some questions, get a sense of who is in the room, and there's some fun ones, and then there's some more that will help us figure out where we want to go and who our audience is. So I'm going to share my slide. Oh, can you stop sharing, Shannon?
Yes, I can. Stop share. There you go. You should be good to go.
Oh dear, now it's suddenly telling me I can't. Well, I'm working on it. Okay, can somebody go to the Minty for me? I'm gonna have to log out of this because I keep using new systems. I forget what I've allowed my camera to see, etc. So I'm going to be back in about 30 seconds. If we want to move on to introductions, that might be a good idea.
Yeah. Do we want to jump forward to introduction? I'm trying to see. Let me see what's next. Would the co-chairs like to go ahead and introduce themselves while she's getting that set up, and then we can pop back? Yes, I'm seeing some nods. Marta, you're talking and you're still muted, so I cannot hear
I'm
you.
still muted. Sorry, apologies about that. My name is Marta Teperek, and I'm from Technical University of Delft in the Netherlands, where I'm working as the Data Stewardship Coordinator. And I've been involved in RDA since about 2015. I've been involved in several of the working group and interest group. And I think it was back in the plenary in Botswana where we came up with that idea that lots of people would like to engage with researchers a little bit better. Myself, I was researcher by training, so that was something very close to my heart. And because lots of people around the world seem to be interested in the topic, we started working on case studies which can help with that engagement. And that's how that group slowly but steadily was formed. But I think that's enough about me.
We will come back to Andrea later. So I already introduced myself. My name's Shannon Sheridan. I am currently the data management librarian at the University of Wyoming. I'm a librarian by training, so this is what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And I am actually fairly new to RDA. I attended my first plenary last spring when it was in Philadelphia. But what I do at the university is a lot of working with researchers, with faculty, with graduate students. I consider talking to people about half of my job, and so that's why I'm really interested in this topic and the different kinds of ways we can go with it.
All right. Hi from me. This is Ellie. You can't see me, but luckily we've foreseen that, so you can see me virtually from this book. And I'm Ellie Papadopoulou. I'm from Athena Research Center in Greece, and my degree is in library science and information systems. So I understand a bit about the more technical stuff and the database as well, which is handy in this in data management. And my main role in the Athena Research Center is to coordinate the activities that two major projects are leading at the moment in Greece. So the one is OpenAir, it's called OpenAir, which is the open access infrastructure for research in Europe. And the other one is the part of RDA, it's a regional RDA project in Europe, and I'm a volunteer. I'm helping the activities of the Greek node. I'm involved in RDA since 2017, maybe a bit before, but I didn't want to fool anyone, so I guess 2017 is the the legal year. And then you can find me at the under handle Ellie _lib and with my email, as you can see here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanne Yeomans. I'm a data management expert at the Centre for Digital Scholarship at Leiden University here in the Netherlands. My background was a science librarian, but I've also spent time working at IFLA headquarters at the International Federation of Library Associations and with EBLIDA, which is a lobbying organisation for at the European Commission, the European Union, on behalf of libraries. So I have some experience with international groups. However, I've only been involved with RDA since last year, really, when I started work at Leiden. So my first RDA plenary was in Helsinki in October, where I met with everyone for the first time in person. But my role at Leiden is in the team, the small team that we have. My role is really to try and coordinate a network of data management support across the university, and also to organise communication and events across the university about what we're doing. So that's why this group is of interest to me, in learning what other people are doing and how we can do things better.
Hi, my name is Raman Ganguly. I'm from the University of Vienna, and I'm based at the computer center, the Central Computer Center, and there I'm responsible for the infrastructure of research data management. In particular, we are developing and operating a repository, more than one repository, so more repository instance of the same. This is all open source what we are doing, and also we are driving forward to improve the whole infrastructure to connect with other research infrastructures. So I'm more the technical guy here, and on this focus, I'm also looking a little bit of sustainability, and also when it comes to the field of research, of engaging with researcher, I always learned that it's very hard to deal with projects which have an end in 3 or 4 years, and then to what happened after with the data afterwards, what happened with the software afterwards, and all the stuff what they produced during the project. And for these, we are trying to build up the right infrastructure where everything can kept safe over the time. And you can contact me to my email address you see it below. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Briana Ezray. I'm a research data librarian for STEM at Penn State University. So I'm a researcher by training in entomology, where I studied bumblebee disease dynamics. And I got involved with RDA in 2019 at the Helsinki meeting. And in my current role, I support data management for faculty and graduate students in training in that area as well. And my information to contact me is below.
James, are you here?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I just lost sound for a moment there. I think my connection's a bit weak. Yeah, so my name's James Savage. I'm a researcher in the behavioral ecology field, and I'm based in UK and Ireland, at University College Cork and the University of Sheffield, although obviously at the moment I'm not traveling around very much. And I was previously a data champion at the University of Cambridge, and that's how I got involved with the RDA, because I attended the plenary in Botswana to present about the data champion program at Cambridge. And that's where I met Marta and got involved with this, this project. And I really enjoyed my work as a data champion, and I've been keen to continue on with that research data management support activities in my other institutions. So that's why I'm keen to be involved with this interest group. I think that'll do in the aims of getting through introductions as quickly as possible.
Great, thanks. And Andrea, are you back up? I don't see your name, but I've only got like 5 minutes.
I am here.
Great. Let me slide back and let you introduce yourself.
So I'm Andrea Medina-Smith. My title is Metadata Librarian at the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. We're the metrology agency for the United States, among many other types of research. About half of my work is in working with researchers to manage their data, publish their data, and make sure that their data is being used. I'm an archivist by training, and that's how I got into the whole data management, because there are so many parallels between how archival records should be managed and how data should be managed. I've been involved in RDA since 2013 when Plenary 2 was in DC. And feel free to email me if you have any questions.
Cool. And Andrea, did we get the Menti thing up and working?
The Menti should be up and running, yes.
All right, then I'm going to stop sharing, and you can feel free to share your screen to make that happen.
All right. So everyone can go to menti.com. The code is 486096, and we're going to answer some questions to get to know each other a little bit. So first, how are we all feeling today? If you could just put in a few words about how you're feeling today. Make sure everybody's feeling something, I guess. Stir crazy, excellent. So it's okay for us to feel fine. It really is. It's okay for us to be, you know, anxious too and worried about this. All right, I'll give it a couple more seconds. A lot of tireds. All right, I'm glad to see people are running and getting outside too. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm glad to see everybody is doing mostly okay. So we'll move on to the next question. What's the best part of this quarantine for you? For me, it's the fact that I don't have to commute. I have a really long commute when I am in the office, so that's been really nice, that I just have to go to the basement. I'm glad to see some people are enjoying just spending time with their kids. Some people cooking dinner, that's been nice for me too. Getting some focus on projects, that's nice. And being able to be more actively involved in RDA, that's great. There is, yeah, some not great for a lot of people as well. Pajamas. These are great. Do a couple more seconds. All right. Excellent. Gardening, cheaper happy hours. All right. Next question. So who are you? And we just want you to focus on what you do for work. You're a researcher, a librarian, IT specialist. Choose the thing that you would most, since you can only select one, I believe is how I said it, what you would most describe yourself as. You know, it's kind of funny. Last time we asked this question, no funders were here either. I wonder if we want to get them in the room. Lots of librarians, great. Some researchers, data stewards, research support. Excellent. If those of you who wrote other could put in the chat box, if you don't mind, if you do mind, I understand. If you don't mind what the other is, that would be interesting for us to see. All right, another second or two. Check that chat box. We have policymakers, director of e-research, a PhD candidate, so a student, supporting the RDA work. Excellent. Independent scholarly communications consultant, great. A couple policymakers, excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so our next question is, in which country do you work? So we want to see sort of our spread here throughout the world. I'm glad to see that so many Australians have managed to make it. We scheduled it for early morning for you guys. Couple more seconds. New Caledonia, welcome. Very proud Canadian we have here. All right, thank you. Thank you everyone coming from wherever you are. And our next question is, why did you come to this session? I know I got involved early on because I was really interested to see what other people were doing and wanted to get some inspiration to bring back to my organization. And again, if you want to say other, if you could put in the chat box what the other is. Okay. So I guess we need to be really inspiring, co-chairs. Do you see that? That's where we want to focus, is on inspiration, I think. And learning to, you know, training everyone to better engage. All right, Karina, that sounds great. Trying to link this group up with other international research engagements groups. We will definitely work toward that. All right, and this I believe is our last one. Who's got new coworkers this week or last week? I have a vote for 2 of those. Sibling, sorry. Do you consider them more of a pet or a kid? I mean, you can decide between those 2 as well. I think I would have one of each if I had to put my siblings there. Partner, yeah, I didn't put those down. I guess I haven't been thinking about my partner very much since he gets to take the kid co-workers when I'm sitting down here in the basement, mostly. All right, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you guys have played along, and we love to see where you guys are from and why you're interested so that we can really help craft this interest group and make it useful for everyone who wants to join. Thanks again.
All right, thank you, Andrea, and thanks everybody for playing along. Next up, we're going back now to our regularly scheduled programming, to the work that we have done so far, and James and Raman are gonna take the lead on this one, and so you guys can go ahead, Raman, and share your screen.
Okay, so I will share my screen. Hopefully it works. No, that was the wrong one, I think. This one.
Can see you love us, Raman.
Yes. So I will give a rough overview over the work, what we have done so far. We have done quite a lot of things, and James, he will jump in when he has things and a few steps where he think he want to add something, then he will step in. So as we heard before, everything started in Botswana, and we had this wonderful plenary. It was a joint plenary with CoData in 2018 in Botswana. And during this week, Marta came up with the idea. I think she had this idea longer, but she came up with this plenary and talked with some people and about the project idea, and also talked with me, and I was very excited to work on this project. And then the project was starting. So project was starting with engaging researchers with research data, what works. Project lead was Marta, and the aim was to find ways, especially innovative ways, to engage with researchers, and also to get the experience what other made with engaging of researchers, because we had the feeling that we talked a lot of always a lot of that we need to engage with researcher, and somebody tried this and somebody that. But so to have an overview what people tried and what really works and was not, we didn't have. And for this project was the focus, and the output was a textbook and a website, but the website will come. So this is still missing, but the textbook is already published. And we did analysis and a survey, and I give just an overview what we have done. Just before the project structure, there was a steering board, and we had several tasks with the task leaders, and then we had this great book sprint and the authors of the books. And in total, there was quite a big project for 48 people. So it was really exciting time to be part of this project. And we were spread all over the world. So we had really nice participation. It was really great. We did a lot of remote work, and it was really very productive, this project. It was a great experience. This is the timeline. So the idea came, and the project outline was at the RD Plenary 12, and we tried to frame everything so we have milestones to each plenary. So we started with the survey, of course, and then bring the survey online in March 2019, so that we can make a presentation of things and of the survey, what we have done in Philadelphia at the plenary. After this, we closed the survey and did the data analyzation. In June, there was the book sprint, and in July it was the book sprint, and then it was the editing time, because we wanted to finish the publication till the RDA plenary 14 in Helsinki. And we really could do this on time, and it was I think we've done a great job there. So first, want to talk a little bit of the survey. So the survey was, as I told you, online on March 29, and we really focused on the question what research institutions and other people have the experience in how they engage with the researcher. And we did a presentation about the survey and about the work what we've done so far in RDA plenary on the 13th annual plenary in Philadelphia. We used 28 mailing lists to spread out that we have this survey, and we reached 60 funders and 80 research institutions, and we had a really great response. So we had 260 responses, 50 unique scientific institutions, and 88 described activities. So this was quite a lot. We didn't expect so many response. So that was also at this point where I thought that we really have reached a good question, and a lot of people want to do is because there are so many surveys out at the moment, and it's not always that you have such a good response. So the next step in the project was the data analysis. So it was challenging that we have so many responses that we have to deal with all the data. So we used a GitHub as a data repository. We put everything there, and at first quantitative data analysis. From this, we make categorization, and out of this, we selected 24 case studies. And these 24 case studies, this was also the main case studies which should go then to the publication, to the book. And for these, we need more information because we wanted to describe these really deep in the depth. So we contacted the key staff and running additional interviews about their cases, about their use cases. Then it was the book stream. You can see here on the picture the team. It must have been a great experience. I wasn't able to be there, but I was really sad that I couldn't make it. This was 3 days in Den Haag. They had really a focused work on 3 days, and the aim was to write the whole book in 3 days. So that's quite a lot of things. And they had a good support by James. He was, I think, in New Zealand. He was at this time.
I'll jump in there a second, Raman, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to say, so it's very useful having someone on Australia or New Zealand time when you're doing a book sprint in Europe, because it means that someone in their work hours can go through all the material that's been written during the day, and then edit it all so that the next day everyone comes back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and all the stuff they did in the previous day has been all tidied up. I also just wanted to add that, of course, all the people who are part of the project that conducted the interviews obviously had to come to the book sprint with a lot of notes already prepared and all the material ready to go. Because the idea of the sprint was to, you have all the material from all your interviews together, and then you sit down with everyone doing the same kind of thing and just get it all down on paper. But as Raman said, it was a very productive few days, and by the end of it, amazingly, we actually had something that was pretty close to being a finished draft of the cookbook with all these case studies. So I'll pass you back, Raman.
Yeah, thank you, James. So, and then came the publication. So after the book sprint, there was also something to do. So the post-book sprint was between the 12th and the 22nd of June. And they prepared during this time the full draft. It was a community previewed, and we got a lot of good suggestions there and taking into the book. And then it was the tricky thing that to find a publisher who can publish this first in open access. And we found one. And then we need, but we need to fund the publications. But also this, we could ask we had several institutions and organizations. They do the fund, and finally, before the plenary in Helsinki, the book was published also in print. So Marta brought some print exemplars to the plenary, and you can find the book as well. It's, as I said before, open access under this link in this presentation. I think this presentation will also be shared after this meeting. So, and then we had our first BUF on the plenary in Helsinki. We did the presentation of the book. We did also the presentation of what we did. And we had a really successful BUF in Helsinki. So there was a lot of attention, and that's why we thought that we will continue. And this is now a little bit out of the format, but our second BUF. And I hope it will be further continued. So that was it from my side.
Great, thanks guys. And now we are going to turn it over to Ellie, since we already did the co-chair introductions, to talk about the feedback that we got from Tab. So Ellie, do you want to share your slides on your screen?
No, you can do it if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
I'll try and keep it very short because I'm cautious that we're running a bit out of the schedule, out of the initial programming. So, hey. Good news, we are endorsed by RDA, so congrats.
No, stop, Ellie,
No?
stop. You're endorsed by Tab, but it has to still go to council. It has to still go to council, so give us another couple of weeks. But
okay.
It'll happen.
I thought that,
sorry.
Okay, I thought that this was our, the light in our dark moments that we're living.
It's maybe a little bit dimmer light, but we'll turn it up soon,
No,
hopefully.
all right. So yes, so we had a great and positive feedback from Tab, from the review that we got from them, and basically what we did, you can see here, we have if you don't know already, we have a website. You can go and join our group. We really appreciate it. It will be useful for you as well if you want to stay up to date with new events and the activities that we will be doing. Go on and click join group. And then what this feedback is, it's regarding the charter that we submitted for us to move from a project under the Libraries for Research Data to an interest group, independent interest group. And this is because during as Raman said, during the survey, we received an overwhelming response of answers from the global community, and those answers we couldn't, because of the focus of the project was only for libraries, we couldn't utilize all of the responses that we received. So this group has a broader scope, so it will also target, as an intergroup, we will also target projects and how they engage with the researchers, and research communities, how they do it, what are their best practices. Also, some other issues that we want to tackle is how initiatives that have to do with early career perspective and you know, how they're doing it and things like that. So we want to be more open and inclusive to data management activities in general. So yes, positive feedback, as I said. All right, yes, yes, our focus aligns with the general motto of RDA, which is building the social bridges. Then if you can move on to capacity, TAB feels that we are well equipped. We have experts from diverse you know, communities, and we are IT. We have people with IT skills, with data stewardship skills, with librarian skills, statisticians, etc. So and we're well connected, so that's good. They highlighted though, they feel that the initial list of 50 potential prospective members that we included in the charter, we said that we may have 50 more. They feel that we should definitely have more, since the activities that we do gain momentum. And they suggested, these are some suggestions, that we highlight the discipline perspective for data management. So we invite members from RDA discipline focus groups and invite other researchers in general. So if you can move to the next slide. And the impact is expected to be also, yes, great impact. And they also highlighted the importance of this group might be relevant to RDA newcomers because of the low bar, RDA newcomers with a low barrier entry. And they say that, I guess because we, in the charter, we included many times the cookbook. So I guess they want us to move beyond the cookbook. So they highlight that the cookbook should be the starting point, and the group's activity shouldn't be the starting point, but the end point of the group's activity. And they also added, I think, a note for them, ensuring that, letting us know that we will have their support with that, and they will be there for us to, and they will make sure that our work is based on the code of conduct of RDA, etc. So that's good. That's great to know. Next. Shannon. All right, and last feedback is about the emailing lists. Before, as a project, we had a different characters, so we had a different channels as well for communication. And the suggestion is that either we merge them and we merge them in the RDA's website and the mailing list that they have there, or we link from the RDA page to them. And regarding the new chairs, we should also think about how to attract more the discipline-focused people. So that's it from me. Thank you. Maybe we have at the end, maybe with Marta, we can discuss this a bit more. Thanks.
All right, great. Thank you so much for the update. And next up, we're going to be moving on to our presentation from the Turkey Research Data and Open Data Task Force. So if you want to start sharing your screen.
Yes.
Yes.
I like to share my own slides. Good evening from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm Çiğdem Yıldırım. First of all, I would like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in your webinar tonight. It is around 1:15 at night right now. It's very midnight here. I work as a research liaison at Koç University Library, and also I am one of the members of Turkey. Just a minute, please. Just sharing my slide. Yes. Is everybody seeing my slide now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. As I said, I work as a research liaison at Koç University Library, and I am one of the members of the Turkey Research Data and Open Data Task Force. My presentation is actually very short. I'm going to talk about how did this sub-working group establish, and which goals were set up so far, and also what was the first action about research data. Actually, during the 7th National Open Science Conference and Open Air Advanced Workshop hosted by Izmir Institute of Technology on the 20th November in 2019, it's very new. The executive board members of the Open Science Committee actually declared of the formally creation of Turkey Research Data and Open Data Task Force as a sub-working group under the Council of Higher Education. The targets of this working group has been determined as preparing research data management plans for Turkish universities, and monitoring the developments in the field of open data and research data. Also cooperating with the relevant institutions in Turkey, and providing some tools about trainings. The other thing is to support the creation of interoperable systems compatible with Europe. And also the other tasks are to prepare reports and making translations of the literature. If we have a look at the structure of the task force, Gültekin Gürdal, who is the coordinator of the working group, is also conducting the projects of the National Open Access Desk of Open Air in Turkey, with the support his colleague Gönül Kafalı in Secretariat. At this point, I'd like to thank you to Marta Teperek and Yasemin Türk Yılmaz van der Velden from the Delft University, Netherlands, and to İlkay Holt from the Confederation of Open Access Repositories. Yeah. Okay. I think, yeah. Did you miss the previous slides of me? I think I just forgot to share. Is that right? We have some more slides of yours, yes, indeed.
Okay, let's.
Would you like our presentation to be shown?
No, actually, I can go back and just to show you the photographs actually. Just a minute.
You had some slides about the book translation.
Yeah. Now,
This is the second slide, a photo. I shared it. This is my second slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is our Turkey Research Data and Open Data Task Force. As I said, it has been established during our Open Science conference in Izmir. The next slide. Just a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that one when you were talking.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see this? All right. Okay. This was about the targets of the group. And the next one.
Would you like Shannon to show the next slide?
Yeah, next slide, but I cannot go forward.
Would you like us to show it?
I'll pull them up. I'm going to stop you from sharing and pull them up on our end of it, and so we can.
Okay, you can share it then. So I cannot go forward right now.
So yeah, here we go.
Okay.
And now, do you want us here?
Okay. Next. No.
Next one?
The previous one, please.
Previous. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know when you want me to.
Yeah. This one, please. Yeah. I was talking about. Yeah. This one, please. Okay. Yeah. Do you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I was talking about the structure of the task force. As I said, the coordinator is Gültekin Gürdal, is also conducting the projects of the National Open Access Desk of Open Air in Turkey with the support his colleague Gönül Kafalı in the Secretariat. Here, I thank to Marta Teperek. I would like to thank to Marta Teperek and Yasemin Türk Yılmaz van der Velden from the Delft Technical University, Netherlands, and also to İlkay Holt from the Confederation of Open Access Repositories, as they accepted to support the group as our advisors. The next, we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, group members of the Research Data and Open Data Task Force. Task Force has actually comprised of librarians from 6 research universities and selected for foundation universities. Has been established of the approval of the institution's administrators. Yeah, we can go forward for the next. Yeah, our first action as a group was to read and to translate this very useful cookbook of the research data management. It's written by Marta Teperek and her friends. Actually, to bring it to the Turkish literature, it was quite important for us. We have really learned a lot from this book about what we can do to engage with the researchers with data management, and also about how we can start a cultural change in our own institutions. So we learned a lot. Thank you very much
this very important book, open access book. Yes, we can go forward. Yeah, this is my last slide. Let me mention about the name of the translation software program, Zanata, allowing us to work in groups very fast while we were translating the book. Actually, after our administrator, Zeki Çelikbaş, defining our accounts into the Zanata, and then we could sign in and start translating the chapters, our own chapters, which had been assigned to each of us before. All you need is a web browser to be able to use Zanata translation program. And you can translate from any computers with internet connection, and there is no any commands or source conflicts with that. All types of files are supported with Zanata. So it was very fast and a very useful tool to translate as a group. We are almost to finish translation, and this book is going to be published by a publication of the Council of Higher Education in Turkey. I think after these tough times, these difficult times, we can be interested more with this work. Yes. We can go to the last slide, I guess. Yeah, actually, I will say that much for now. So this is my contact information. If you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer. Or you can contact me anytime later. So thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the slides. I think I skipped them without sharing at the beginning. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, especially with the late hour. We appreciate you coming to talk to us. And now next up, Marta is going to be talking with us about ways of working and next steps. Marta, do you want to take control of slides, or do you want me to just keep going?
I think it's okay if you don't mind. That will be faster, I think, and I'll try to do it super efficiently. We can move the rest of the discussion via email, as we've been working online very effectively and efficiently. So as Ali mentioned, we have received tab feedback. We'll be responding to this, so we'll share the document with our response with you, so you'll be able to comment. And we are, of course, excitedly waiting for the approval by the Secretariat, hopefully soon, so we know that our plans for future work will be, by the Council. Stephanie, you must be very angry with us now about the formal ways of working of RDA, but we are all learning. That's the first group we are starting. So hopefully the group will be approved, and then we can get on with our work. So there is two important tasks for you guys. If you could join the RDA group on that link that it's posted in there, and also join the Slack channel. And you probably received lots of emails from me already with that extent, but please join. And we'll continue with online meetings and online communication. If we can go to the next slide, I will tell specifically what we are going to do. So you've been already proposing lots of different activities for our groups, like, for example, case study webinars, research engagement toolkit for low-income countries, toolkit for researchers, guidance for what not to do when trying to engage with researchers, or podcasts about the case studies. And I'm sure that there are lots of other things that you probably all would really love to work on and you think it's a priority. So I suggest as a next step, after we have heard from the Council, if our group is hopefully, fingers crossed, approved, I will send an email with asking you in which task you would like to participate, what kind of role would you like to play, observer, or would you like to help with some work? or perhaps you have some additional suggestions for our ways of working. So hopefully we can get going and get up to speed before the next RDA plenary, so meet in between. And we are looking forward already to the P16, where we can present our work so far, whether that will be in person or virtual, hope for in person, but really we should get up to speed with the work. So looking forward to hear from the council. And of course, Stephanie is asking, people can suggest new tasks. So as I mentioned, what would you like to work on? So we'll send an email to everybody with a form and people will be able to suggest new tasks, absolutely. Thanks so much. I think that's it from me. Speedy next steps.
That was great. Looking like we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. So now we've got some time for some comments and questions. Let me actually see what time it is. I know we're like right on the end of the hour long, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for the moment so that we can look at the chat box if people have questions, if they want to type in there. Or you should have the ability to unmute yourself if you would rather have something vocal, but I think if people put their questions or comments in the chat box, I can read them out loud, and that will also make it easier so we don't have 20 people talking over each other. So we've got a question from Karen. Canada is getting ready to do an RDM needs assessment and they want lots of researcher engagement. It has big implications for the 5-year strategic plan for research in Canada. Do you have any advice about either the way to deploy or collect information to get the most researcher engagement, or a chapter from the book that might be helpful?
Is that too much to ask? Sorry.
No, that's a good question. And I'll throw this maybe to some of the people that worked on the cookbook, if there are any parts that they want to point out that might be particularly helpful.
To be honest with you, I think the book might be a good start because there is a table inside the book where it helps you to guide you through what kind of models of engagement might be most useful for your local situation. And I think what is really good with the team who was involved in not only writing of the cookbook, but also collection of the case studies, that lots of experts are available here. So if any of those case studies you think might be particularly useful to your setting, then we would be delighted to organize, for example, a webinar or facilitate those conversations with people who contributed those case studies. What about the other people? Do you have any other suggestions, particular chapters, way to approach that task?
So, hi, this is Ellie. When you say Canada, you mean it's a national effort? So is it a collective effort from stakeholders around Canada? So many people are involved, or is it, I don't understand exactly.
So it is national. Canada is sort of one of those once in a lifetime opportunities where Canada is investing a lot of money to create a new national infrastructure to coordinate software data management under this umbrella organization for scientific research asset management. And so they want to make sure that they create, it's literally, they had their kickoff meeting last week. And so the first thing they want to do is make sure that they're creating a plan that's responsive to researchers. And so they really want to get their needs assessments right at first.
Okay, I see. So yes, as Marta mentioned, the cookbook highlights good key issues that you need in order to start one of the activities that are included in the cookbook. But in your case, maybe you need the whole cookbook because institutions, yes, because the institutions have different resources, right? Different expertise. And because this is what we're facing in Greece now in a similar effort, in a similar task force, national task force that we have. We need everyone to highlight their expertise, what the role is that they have for the engagement activities, what engagement activity they can do in terms of capacity, in terms of the infrastructure that they have, the effort that they are willing to take, the resources, how much money they have. You know, this is, so I think that the whole cookbook could be something that you could take and start drafting things out of it.
And just to echo what Ellie said there, this is James. Yeah, some of the case studies are from institutions which are really just at the initial phases of developing their RDM infrastructure, so they didn't have any real policies in place or any central units supporting it. And then there's some individuals galvanizing change and starting the process off, all the way through to organizations which already had a quite well-developed infrastructure, and then how they are leveraging that as efficiently as possible. So I think if you were starting a big national effort with the idea of providing support and advice to institutions throughout the country and how to develop, you could do a lot worse than having a look through the cookbook and then using some of the ideas from that to sort of build a sort of stepwise approach to levels of competency and support at different institutions and what the sensible order of implementation would be.
And then I've got another comment here in the chat from Joanne. Make sure you consult young researchers, as they are the ones with needs, but rarely sit on official committees where decisions are often made about what is needed. So some advice as you're talking to people during that needs assessment.
That's a good point, thank you.
And just to add, this is Joanne, just to add, I guess one of the lessons we picked up from a lot of people when writing the cookbook was that you don't get information by just sitting in a chair and sending emails to people. You have to engage with them, which means going to where they are, going to meet with them physically and talking to them. So yeah, if you're looking, that was a general theme of the cookbook, of course. So I guess that's what you would have to do to really get answers to the questions you want to ask.
I think we're going to have to do the best with what we have for limited travel at this point. But yes, I appreciate your point. It is nice to talk to folks.
And another comment along those lines from Yan Wang: key to engagement activities, make sure it's a two-way engagement. Make sure it's a two-way communication, not just one-way collecting information from researchers. And I will also second vocally Marta's note that for those who can stay a bit longer and want to chat with us, please do. Thank you. And for those of you who do need to leave the meeting now, don't hesitate. And sorry about some of the technical issues earlier in the presentation.
Quick question, will the chat information be put into the notes in the Google Doc?
Yeah, I can grab all the chat information for you and give it to the chairs at the end of the session. I'll send that through with the video as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Karina, perfect.
Anybody else have questions for any of the presenters tonight? Comments about anything that they saw? Okay, well, barring none, feel free to stick stuff in the chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to reshare my screen just for the quick closing remarks, mostly to give you the notes page again. So that's the note page again. Again, this session was recorded, so we will be in touch with you guys about where that recording is going to be made available. A really big thank you to everybody that attended tonight or this morning or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Yeah, it was great to see a lot of people coming out and being really engaged. And other than that, I don't have anything else. Oh, we've got something in the chat box. Oh, just thanks. Okay. Want to make sure I wasn't missing any last minute questions.